Hi, welcome to my channel, and in this video we are starting a new topic. This is the topic of trigonometry. So trigonometry is actually focusing on the sides and the angles of a triangle. I have a triangle here. Let me call this O, A, and B, and I call this one our angle theta. So before we start our question, we need to know some features here which will be appearing as we move on with the topic. So from here you are seeing tri, meaning triangle. So the word is trigonometry. And now geometry, you are looking at the angle of a certain polygon, and now you are looking at the angles of a triangle, and we shall study the sides, how they are connected to the angle of this triangle. You need to know the name of the sides here. From earlier classes we know that if this is an angle, that side which is opposite the angle is called the opposite, and the side which is adjacent to the angle is called the adjacent, whereas this one is the hypotenuse. We know that from our earlier classes. So now here we are going to see we are told to use the Pythagorean theorem to prove the following identities. Now, the Pythagoras theorem states that if you get adjacent side OA squared plus side AB squared, you get the hypotenuse squared. You get OB squared. So we are going to derive these identities here using the Pythagoras theorem. So if you know that, then in higher classes we are focusing on sine of an angle, cos of an angle, and the tan of an angle. But here we are going to, at A level, we are going to get three more identities: the cot, the sec, and the cosec, where these are reciprocals of what we've been using in earlier classes. So when we say cot theta, that is the reciprocal of tan. So cot theta is 1 over tan, and tan is 1 over cot. Similarly, cosec here is the reciprocal of sine, and sine is the reciprocal of cosec. Sec is the reciprocal of cos. So you need to memorize these identities. So we have 6 identities so far, which we are going to look at throughout this topic. Well, so back to our question. If we have got this, then it's good to go. So we are going to see the very first identity. Now this identity here says sine squared plus cos squared is equal to 1. That one, we just use the Pythagoras theorem and we find it. This is what we do. We know from, look at this triangle, sine of this angle, sine of theta, we know that sine is opposite over hypotenuse. If you remember this word SOHCAHTOA, it helps you to remember the ratios of an angle, the trigonometric ratio, how it is connected to the sides of a triangle. When you say sine, that is opposite over hypotenuse, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan is opposite over adjacent. So look at this. When you say sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse, meaning that this will be opposite. Our opposite here is AB. AB over hypotenuse, which is OB. So in other words, our OB is the hypotenuse, AB is the opposite. So sine theta is AB over OB. Now this side can be called, this side OA, sorry, this side AB, if we cross multiply, is the same as OB sine theta. That is one equation when we are going to derive this. Then I'm going to find this cos also. When you talk about cos theta from here is adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent is OA, hypotenuse is OB, meaning that this adjacent here, OA, when I cross multiply, is the same as OB cos theta, and I have equation 2. So now there is something we are going to do here. If we want to get this, I'm going to get sine squared plus cos squared, and I see if I'll get a 1. So what is the sine squared? Now my sine squared, using Pythagoras theorem, sine squared will be AB over OB. But when this is squared and this one is also squared, and cos squared theta is going to be OA squared over OB squared. So let us add these two, creating some space. When I add sine squared plus cos squared, I get AB squared over OB squared plus OA squared over OB squared. Now this will give us, because the denominator is the same, we shall get AB squared plus OA squared, side A B squared times side OA squared, divided by OB squared. But remember, from this equation here, OA squared plus AB squared is equal to OB squared. So this is the same as OB squared. You divide it by OB squared, which is a 1. Which means that whenever I get sine squared, it is something which is very important. You have to know it always. Whenever I get sine of any angle, it can be sine alpha plus cos squared alpha, that should be 1. Even if it is sine squared 40 plus cos squared 40, that will always give you a 1. So that is a major identity, the very first identity we have derived. You have to know it. Sine squared plus cos squared gives us a 1. So now what was required is here. So we just conclude that hence sine squared theta plus cos squared theta is equal to a 1. Part A is done. Now we are going to part B.